In just 3 days from now, Taiwan voters will head to polls to elect a new president and legislature. In the latest, Taiwan's defense ministry has issued an alert. It says that China had launched a satellite rocket again. Take a listen.
In response to the satellite rocket launched by China this time, we discovered abnormal movement. It flew over southern Taiwan and we considered it was a threat. So, we sent out alert messages through mobile phone to inform the public to be alert.
The White House has reacted to news of China's increasing pressure on Taiwan ahead of the polls.
I think these actions raise questions in our mind about what the intent here is. You mentioned coincidental here in timing to the election. I have proof that that's what's driving it, but it sure does raise interesting questions, doesn't it, about what their intentions are, or what their goals are with this activity.
Beijing has reaffirmed its claim over Taiwan, saying that the island's upcoming elections are China's internal affairs, even as balloons are repeatedly spotted flying over the Taiwan Strait. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has skirted questions on Beijing's aggressive actions. The ministry says that this is not a diplomatic issue.
Ground stop on our airport.
Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory, and elections in the Taiwan region are China's internal affairs. This is not a diplomatic issue, and I refer you to the Taiwan Affairs Office for further details.
This comes as Taiwan's vice president and ruling party contestant Ching has said that he wishes to reopen dialogue with China based on equality and mutual respect. This after almost 8 years of Beijing's near complete refusal to communicate with the leaders of the island. However, Lai has also said that he would hold to the current administration's policy of maintaining democratic Taiwan's de facto independence.
I will continue to uphold these policies, which are in the interest of both Taiwan and the international community. I will maintain the status quo and continue to bring society together with the framework of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Our door will always be open to engagements with Beijing on the principles of equality and dignity.
And for more on the upcoming polls in Taiwan, we are now being joined by Ross Daryl Feingold. He is a political analyst and he's joining us live from Taipei. Thanks very much for joining us on WION, Mr. Feingold.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure to have you here. Now, China has framed the elections in Taiwan as a choice between peace and war. You're joining us live from Taiwan, Mr. Feingold. Talk to us about how the voters, young and old, how are they grappling with choosing parties that vary in their stance towards China?
First, I have to emphasize that it's business as usual, very normal life here, even though we have a big election day on Saturday. People are not worrying about who to vote for. Most people have probably made up their minds by now. They're not really scared of China either. They know the China threat is real, and it certainly will be a factor in a lot of voters' decision. But other important factors will be a higher priority for many voters. And just like any other democratic election, that factor is economic issues. So a lot of voters are not going to vote based on China issues. They're going to vote based on which candidate they think will be beneficial for the economy overall and for individual voters' personal economic circumstances.
Right, Mr. Feingold, just to follow up on the point you made that the issue of China is not the only the only topic there in Taiwan. What are the other issues that the contestants are campaigning for?
One of the main issues is the high cost of housing, because the cost of housing has increased dramatically in recent years, and it's really getting too expensive for middle class people or young people, fresh graduates, to afford their own home. So that's a really hot topic, and all the candidates have pledged in one way or another to try and control the rapid increase in the cost of housing. Another issue is the cost of childcare and the falling birth rate. People young couples feel not only is housing too expensive, but childcare is too expensive, and they're holding off on either getting married or having families or having more than one child. So that's a significant issue. And frankly, honesty in government. I think the voters want to feel confident that the person they're going to select to be the president for the next 4 years is going to conduct themselves and their government with honesty and with transparency. And there's some concerns with the outgoing government, whether they always adhere to being transparent.
Right, Mr. Feinbaum, my last question to you. Talk to us about the implications of Taiwan's election results in the cross-border stability there.
We know, as your colleague reported, China is simply not going to talk to William Lai of the Democratic Progressive Party if he wins the election. As he said himself, if he wins the election, he's going to maintain most of the current policies of outgoing President Tsai Ing-wen. And under that policy framework, China will not talk to a government run by a Democratic Progressive Party politician. If the Chinese Nationalist Party, or also known as the Kuomintang, were to win the election, then it's highly likely that China and Taiwan would resume negotiations over a range of issues.
Right, Mr. Feinbaum, we'll of course be tracking the upcoming polls very closely here on WION. But thanks very much for taking our time and joining us here.
Thank you.